Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. I'm going to read a short story out of this book here called The Scary States of America, 50 Weird and Terrifying Stories, one from each state based on true events. Author is Michael Teitelbaum. And the state I'm going to read this time is Louisiana. It's called Voodoo, Priestess. Spirits, ghosts, and magic are as much a part of Louisiana as Cajun food and jazz. Demons lurk in old houses and hotels, not to mention in the swamps of the bayou. So it's not surprising that one of my steadiest suppliers of first-hand paranormal accounts would live in that ghost-infested state. My pal, Bayou Bet, has lived in Louisiana all her life. And she sent me a bunch of really scary stories. But this latest one is hands down the creepiest. So here I'm about to read the conversation between Bayou Bet and Paraguay. Okay? Bayou Bet says, "Got a winner for you, Jason. Real scary." Paraguay, wait, let me guess. Haunted hotel? Bayou Bet, nope. Paraguay, swamp monster? Bayou Bet, you're getting colder. Paraguay, the ghost of a famous jazz musician? Bayou Bet, lame. I said scary. Paraguay, okay, no more guessing. Tell me. Bayou Bet says, a voodoo priestess and a dead girlfriend. Paraguay, don't tell me they walk into a bar. Bayou Bet says, not funny, bad joke. Now stop typing and start reading. I got this story from a kid named Steve who lives around here. Then it goes into the story. Sarah was my first love. Right now, it feels like she'll be my only love. People tell me I'll meet other girls. After all, I'm only 17. Sarah would have been 17 next month. With her death still fresh in my mind and filling my soul with darkness, it feels like I'll never love again. She's been gone 6 months, and I miss her so much. I'd do anything to get her back, which is why I turned to Madame LaRue. Everyone in my hometown knows Madame LaRue. She's a crazy old woman who lives in a creepy, run-down shack deep in the swamp. Some people call her a gypsy. Some call her a witch. Others say she's just an eccentric, harmless hermit. But for years, there have been rumors about strange rituals, human sacrifice, and black magic in her part of the swamp. Then, there are those who believe that Madame LaRue is a voodoo priestess, capable of bringing the dead back to life. It was with these stories in mind that I set off after school one day to find her. Looking back now, I can see it was stupid, but I was a little crazy with grief. All I could think of was that somehow I could be with Sarah again, see her one more time, hold her hands, kiss her lips. I was desperate. How could I live with all this hurt inside me? The late afternoon sun was starting to set as I made my way along narrow, dry paths into the swamp. I'd played here with my friends years ago, but stories about the witch who lived there always chased us from the dark woods of the swamp's interior before nightfall. Now I was plunging into the darkening forest, searching for that witch. The trees closed in like enormous, rough-skinned arms enveloping me, pulling me in deeper, hugging me tighter. The wind picked up, and the hooting of a distant owl startled me. I looked over my shoulder, unable to shake the feeling that someone was following me, watching my every move. But I wasn't going to leave. Madame LaRue was my last hope. I came to a stream and sloshed across it, soaking my sneakers, slipping once or twice, and then fighting to regain my balance. The sound of the rushing water seemed to speak to me, but its voice was muffled. Was it a warning? I continued on the other side of the stream, and the wind-whipped trees swayed back and forth, waving me forward, signaling that I had passed the point of no return. Zipping up my jacket against the fierce wind, I pushed forward, small branches slapping me on the arms and back, and then I caught sight of it. Little more than a hut, the tiny house might have looked good at some point, but that was hard to imagine. Graying, rotted clapboard hung at all angles, blown up and down by the wind, straining against the few nails that still held the boards to the house. The slate roof was stained with years of moss and bird droppings, and the cracked front door looked like it could fly off its hinges at any moment. As I approached, time slowed. I could hear my heart beating loudly, urging me forward. What if I really could see Sarah again? But my brain kept telling me that this was a really bad idea. I stepped onto the porch, and the ancient floorboards creaked a shrill warning. Then everything grew silent. I could hear the blood coursing through my veins. Tap, tap, tap. I knocked softly on the ramshackle front door. No response. Rap, rap, rap. I knocked louder now and heard a low moan coming from inside. Every instinct told me to turn and flee, but I fought the urge. The door is unlocked, a voice came from within. I fear no one, for the spirits of the night and the souls of the dead protect me. You may enter, stranger. I swallowed hard and then grasped the rusty metal doorknob and popped the door open. It squeaked out a mournful cry as it swung inward, and I stepped through the doorway. I didn't see her at first. It was very dark inside except for the dozens of candles scattered throughout the cramped room. They flickered and tossing tiny fingers of light of the woven wall hangings. Images of demons and monsters and ancient scenes of evil and death covered the fabric. Then I saw her, seated in a large throne-like chair in the far corner of the room. The candlelight sent an eerie glow over Madame Leroux's ancient wrinkled face. It was a face as old as time, lined with a thousand stories. Her robes flowed from her neck, draping over her feet. An elaborate headdress enveloped her head. The folds of its fabric swirled upward like the wind itself. I felt my hand shaking. My lower lip trembled uncontrollably. You bring pain into my home, Madame Leroux said before I could muster the courage to speak. How did you know? I said, grasping in disbelief. I mean, yes, that's true. That's why I came here. I mean, to see you, to see if you can help me. I felt like a bumbling, nervous fool. You seek to be reunited with one who is gone, the witch stated with certainty. She had to be a witch. How else could she know why I was here? This can be done, she said. I thought I was going to burst into tears. I struggled hard to hold it together. How much? I asked. The words popped out of my mouth, and I instantly felt rude. I mean, how? I do not seek money from you, Madame Leroux said. I am a priestess, descended from 1,000 years of great spiritual women. I offer comfort to those in pain. Do not believe all the things you hear about me. She never smiled. Her face remained composed, like a primitive mask come to life. You must, however, be very precise in telling me what you want, she continued. I want to see Sarah again, I blurted. My girlfriend. I want her to be alive. Very well, then. Very well, comma. Then here's what you must do, the witch began. Bring a picture of Sarah to her grave tomorrow night when the moon is full. You must then repeat this sentence 5 times. Ancient spirits, lift the one who is gone and cut the pain from my soul. When you have repeated this sentence for the 5th and final time, she will be revealed. Thank you, Madame Leroux, I said, somehow totally believing her. Then I bowed. In parentheses, don't ask me why. It seemed like the right thing to do. And slowly backed out of the house. Remember, she said as I reached the door. She said, Remember, she said as I reached the door, you will get precisely what you asked. I ran from the house, crashing back into the woods. Darkness had almost completely fallen. I tripped over roots and smacked into branches as I stumbled my way through the swamp. My mind was racing. Could what she said be true? Is it possible I'll see Sarah again? How can that be? Is the witch a fraud? But then she did know I was in pain. By the time I made it home, it was pitch black out. I was more tight-lipped than usual at dinner, but I guess my folks have gotten used to that since Sarah died. After dinner, I scrolled through all the shots I had saved of her on my phone, but I knew before I started which one I wanted to use. Sarah in her yellow dress the night of the formal. She's holding the corsage I bought her, looking so pretty. Her smile just shines in that shot. I started to cry. Would I really be seeing her tomorrow night? I stared at the photo and clutched the phone to my chest. Then I climbed into bed, knowing full well that I wouldn't be able to doze off. After sleepwalking through school the next day, I headed to the cemetery, my phone gripped tightly in my fist. It grew dark and the clouds parted, revealing the bright, full moon. Slipping past the cemetery gates, I made my way along the now all too familiar route to Sarah's grave. I had come here dozens of times in the months since her death, but tonight I felt scared and excited and maybe just a little bit insane. Reaching the grave, I stood on the soft grass, looking down at the headstone, then staring at the photo. I said the words for the first time. Ancient spirits, lift the one who is gone and cut the pain from my soul. Nothing happened. Was this all a cruel joke? Was Madame Leroux a fake? Then, without warning, the ground beneath my feet began to move. I glanced down, and the grass was being sucked into the earth by its roots. The dark, fresh soil shifted beneath my feet, bubbling up like boiling water. Oh my God, she's alive. She's coming to me. Ancient spirits, lift the one who is gone and cut the pain from my soul, I shouted for the second time. A horrible, wailing moan filled the silent cemetery, sending chills through my bones. I was terrified and deliriously happy all at once. Sarah, I cried out. Sarah, is that you? Oh, that's what it says. I don't know if she had a deep voice or not, but... The moans turned to cries of pain, and I felt sick to my stomach. Ancient spirits, lift the one who is gone and cut the pain from my soul. As I finished the sentence for the first time, the stench of rotting flesh battered my nostrils. The odor was horrible. I choked and coughed and puked my guts out. What if this isn't the Sarah I know coming back? What if it's some kind of rotting creature? Still clinging to some small shred of hope, I repeated the phrase for the fourth time. Ancient spirits, lift the one who is gone and cut the pain from my soul. The unmistakable crunching of footsteps on leaves threaded its way through the still night air. She's coming. Sarah is coming back to me. I looked all around, hoping to catch a glimpse of her in the moonlight. But the smell got worse as the footsteps drew closer. Then I remembered Madame Leroux's words. You will get precisely what you asked for. When you have repeated the phrase for the fifth and final time, she will be revealed. Revealed? A horrible image flashed into my head. Sarah in her beautiful yellow dress, now torn to shreds and covered in dirt, her decaying flesh hanging in clumps from her exposed skeleton. You will get precisely what you asked for. I asked to see Sarah again. I asked for her to be alive, but I had forgotten to say alive as she was in life. I had brought Sarah back, but not as the beautiful girl I loved. She would be nothing but a rotten corpse walking the earth as the living dead, and now she was walking toward me. No, I screamed, this is all wrong. She will be revealed. No, I won't say it a fifth time. I don't want her to be revealed. I don't want to see Sarah like this. I turned and hurried from the grave, glancing down at the picture in my hand. Now this is how I want to remember her, beautiful and fully alive. As I reached the cemetery gate, I heard a soft sobbing. Sarah. I would recognize her crying anywhere, but I couldn't look back. I gently kissed the photo on my phone and forced myself to keep walking. The cemetery fell silent once again. And that's how they're going to end it? I've seen movies, like that, where they end it like that, and it's really aggravating. You don't get to really see what happened. So it just leaves you to use your own imagination, I guess. So there you go. Louisiana. All right. I hope you all enjoyed the story. The Scary States of America, 50 Weird and Terrifying Stories, one from each state, based on true events by Michael Teitelbaum, the author. And if y'all are into paranormal type stuff, you collect paranormal books and all kinds of other paraphernalia type stuff, you might want this for your collection. So look it up and buy a copy of it. All right. Well, we will see you on the next one. Bye.